Here we are, punters at the Emerald.
Yes, back at well, this is the local. My mate, I live 12, 14 k's away, but this is my local. Basically, spend more time here than anywhere else.
Great pub.
Great pub.
When we're doing part one, then DK, I was going to add on the horses to follow, but we'll do them now.
What are you thinking of it? Yeah.
So, what have you got?
Yeah. So I've got I'll say a quick think of it. The maiden winner was the thing of Andrew Noblets that won at. Was it Wangaratta or Benalla the other
There
day?
it is.
There it is.
Wishful thinking.
So Jay Carr went up there right.
How did you miss that? I mean, I looked at that. I didn't get involved in that meeting. I watched the replays and I thought, who's that horse? Then I looked at the times and went, who is that horse? That's a nice horse.
So she's gone there and done that. Yeah. So, but Jamie said after the race, I asked Andrew if he could run it closer to town. But he said, no, I'm sending it to Wangaratta or something. So, and if you want to educate, just like as Pot's talking about the times, I got the punting form. I got up on punting form when I did the ratings on it, and you know what we like to see is we like to see them spend energy early and spend energy late. Like it's, and if you have a look at this thing, if you go to the early speed, see the early how fast it went out early in the race, and then the light up late in the race, and it's a good way to educate you on the horses you want to follow going forward, which is what this did, and visually it was good to the eye. So it's called wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking, yeah.
And it was green, and it was the other thing was when it got to the front, it was still, it was all over the joint. When it wasn't.
It's done what it did, I would say, well within itself, which is an indicator of class. It's got a lot of, scope to go through the classes. It's not been anywhere near tested yet.
Yeah. So no, they went out solid, and it just found the line. And so that's the maiden winner. So that's the one going forward. And I had a coming maiden winner is a thing of Shea Edens that ran in a. I'm not normally one to find them out 1,000 metre races, but this was one day built Cranbourne on that Savage Leaders track, maybe 10 days ago, whatever it was. The race has gone good. I think called Commando, was it Commando Miss or something like that? A grey horse. She sort of settled 3 lengths off the leaders and just charged at them late. She looks like she had a stack of tail. I think it was Commando Miss or something like that. But Shea Eden horse, grey horse. I reckon it'll be winning.
Along the same.
Another one of his Polanco, which was a moral beat, unbelievable. That was cruel at Benalla. So I don't know what was it. He's got on stay proceedings or something, is he?
Who?
Shea.
Oh, I don't
He
know.
got buckled for that Swan Hill stuff, and
Right.
must be on stay.
It's who knows these days, DK?
Well, I thought Terry O'Sullivan got done. It's still going. So
Still going.
I don't
Garrett
know.
McLean, still going.
Yeah.
Darren, where he's on the farm?
Yeah, cattleman. Blackheart Barter rounding up his cattle. Apparently.
There you go.
He's looked at the old horses. He's his cattle horse.
Well, along the same lines, but not with anything particularly up its sleeve, but just the impressive way to go about things that means it's an interesting horse to me. It was last Wednesday at Ballarat. Mike Moroney had a horse first up from the UK, Ollie riding, hard going sort of a horse called Buffalo River. And normally that stable's they don't have them fully wound up first up, but this horse just take no prisoners.
Ollie was the problem.
Flat out.
Ollie was the key, I suppose.
Yeah,
there was he.
So, I think they might have. It was a bit as much as $8 or $9, and I missed it. I couldn't mark it that short off what I saw of its jump outs, and I looked at its 3 or 4 of its UK runs. But it really did something there last Wednesday. Just went flat out the whole way, and Ballet Masters in as good. It's going as good as it can, and it held it off, and it had a perfect run.
I think the jockey bookings, as we saw with wishful thinking, I just didn't put enough weight. I said, I just said, it's J Carr here. She said, I'm here to ride this, because she was on the favourite in race one of Andrew Nobles, but it wasn't much good. And she's on another maiden, wasn't much good. So she said, I'm up here to ride this, and that's why it's telling you.
So what was the betting?
Because I thought, what was the $5? There's a short. There's a leader. There's a leader favourite, 2-1 favourite of Matt Kamani's. Just a good, honest leader.
So $5 SP?
SP, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, $5 SP.
Wow.
So, but yeah, the tip, so Ollie's in go. If I see Ollie on a first start of Maroney's, Tofane, he was on Tofane at Bendigo when it got beat, heavily back, 5-4. So I think the jockey booking off first up or off. See, I wasn't sure. I'm not a lot of the jump out control groupies did like wishful thinking, but it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I just have a look at their jump outs on a race day, chart them off their race performances. So, but one thing, the guide of how to mark him is what jockey are they going for now? P. Maloney or someone, or you know, another would be some other rider, but there is Ollie, number one on it. Probably a good sign. A good sign anyway.
Yep.
If you're going to back it.
Well, they certainly, they you know, they got their money out of it. So it could have just been targeted, and that might take a lot out of it. But it was a very interesting performance because it really did have the foot down the whole way. Good tough effort. So I just wanted to talk a bit about wagering, DK. We'll talk a little bit about how the POC
the market
has affected
percentages and whatnot.
the market. But we've had quite a few emails over the last sort of 6 months about people that, some of whom get my sets and, you know, just others in general, sort of asking, what do you do when, say, you've marked the horse. So I send my set out at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? Just say I've marked the horse $6 and the market's saying $4.40, and it might be second or third pick, and so it's not on my betting plan in the morning. Then when betting comes, a couple other runners heavily back, the market percentage comes out, and it gets out to $6. What do you do? Do you save on it? Do you not worry about it? Do you include it? What do you do? And it can be a race where I'm not involved at all. So an example of that would be David Brightoak's mare at Flemington 2 meetings ago, whose name escapes me. I'd marked her 480 or something, and she got out to $6.
Oh, Princess, no.
The one that won at Warrnambool. She won at Warrnambool, and then she Kingsbrook.
Oh, Kingsbrook.
Yeah. So since the blinkers have gone on, she just improved. So, you know, I'd marked her 480 or something, and she got out to $556 on race day, and it was a race I wasn't involved in. So people ask me, do you tend to get involved in that sort of thing? Or it could be another race where you might have backed 2 runners that you really like, and then the third pick was too short in the morning, but then gets out the price you save on. So that just those type of questions. And my answer to it is there's no right and wrong answer. Racing's full of marginal decisions that will test you. They're easy to get wrong. So, you know, you have to decide what you're trying to achieve over a long period of time. So, just generally speaking, backing those type of horses that drift to their price, I think they're probably a break-even proposition over time. Okay, so if you include them, it will increase your turnover, which I think is a good thing. And it'll probably just bring, if you just say you're operating at a 10% profit on turnover, it'll bring your profit on turnover down a little bit, but it'll keep you in the game a lot. It'll keep you collecting a bit more often. And I think the question you sort of have to ask yourself, so just say it's a race where you've backed one run, like there's one runner you really like in the race. It's a 10-horse field, there's one runner you really like. So you're already on it, or half on it, you've got to have more on, or whatever. And then there's another 2 runners in the race that you're sort of neutral on.
Yep.
You know, that if they beat you wouldn't be surprised, but you don't really like them. And then there's 7 other runners that you don't really like, just as an example. So at that point in time, when you've just backed your top pick, you're exposed to all 9 other runners for the same liability. Whatever you've had on your top pick, exposed to all the others. So the question you've got to ask yourself is, do you want to reduce your exposure on the other 2 runners that you're neutral on, and increase your exposure to the other 7?
That's right.
And if you do that without topping up on your top pick, you're reducing your potential profit on your top pick. So they're the questions you've got to answer. And I mean, I'm always asking myself those questions and fighting with it one way or another, because you do want to maximise the profit out of the ones you really like.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't like getting beat by the things I almost expected.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So on Saturday, to pick an example,
I'm not losing. I'm not losing on this horse.
Yeah.
That's I'll save them. If I was involved in the race, okay, we decided we're involved in this race. Really like this horse. Really like these 2, and got third. My third picks, small winners or chops. Yeah. If I want to go that way, that's basically how I take it. I want to be involved in the race, but if I'm sort of half-hard and something drifts out, I wasn't going to play in that race. There might be 4 maidens on every day. I might only play in 2 of them. These are the 2 races I'm playing, and so I've already decided I'm involved in those races,
So the races where you're not involved, so we're talking about the Kingsbrook type situation, what you've got to be careful of there is that term you've mentioned before is leakage. So leaking money, even if it's just small
Yeah,
bits and
because
pieces
if they're
on
back
races that you hadn't really intended to get.
Because then you say, you go and have something on something, and then you see money for the other. Oh shit, stack of money for this. Well, I better have something on it, and then, all right, and now you're sort of involved in a race you weren't half going to be involved in, and then it's all right if you pinch something on the race, but you're filthy on yourself if something buckle that goes over, and I wasn't going to play in that race anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just knocked off what I won on the race I was going to play in.
I would. You know? My feeling is that those races over a long period of time will break even.
Yeah,
anyway.
they'll be
So you
yeah.
sort of.
It's just a mental how you want to play mentally and things like that. You know, if you want to get your turnover up, you know, and things like that, and happy to say okay, but you know, it's nothing worse than winning on a race you were solid on. Yes, so we're on the first winner and everything. Then race 2 maybe might be a marginal race, but because we won on the first, we might have a betty and get involved, and then you go over and you say, bloody hell, I wasn't keen to bet, and I just.
I mean, that happened again on Saturday with Fidelia. I marked at 2:30. She was $1.95 in the morning. I left the race off. So when I'm thinking about that race, I'm thinking the problem is I don't want to put Fidelia on the betting plan. I think she'll get to 2:30. Right? She ended up getting to 2:60 or 2:70. But if I back her, I don't really want to be exposed to adversary. That horse is flying.
Yeah,
it's coming
back
to town off a really strong platform, and there are other dangers in those races. So I'm thinking to myself, as soon as I do get involved here on Fidelia, I've got to make adversary neutral at worst. There are a number of horses in this race I'm happy to be exposed to, but there are a couple I'm not. So you've got to think those few steps ahead. That's what we're talking about. Races like that where it is, there's some complexity to it and the market's tight, but it's carrying 30% because of the change with the per scene. You know it's going to get down to under 110. So there's going to be some shifts there. If you're going to get involved, you have to be able to think a couple of steps ahead. And which is.
But even the SPs are high now, aren't they? Didn't someone do a report the other day saying the SPs are high? So, I mean, if you don't have a Betfair account, I think you're mad these days. Matty Taylor pointed out the other day there was a Nature Noble Boy or something like that. Something the one in Brisbane or whatever the other shorty, sitting there at $1.65 or $1.70 the corpse, and you get $1.90 on Betfair. You know, they just so it's with commission of course, but it's still worth it.
I think that in the lower liquidity meetings, there's a lot of that on the short price runners, where the corporates are trying to stay several rolls under where Betfair is. So, it's just part of the market now, you know. And at the end of the day, and they're a retailer. They're retailing prices, so they're only going to push them to the point where they can make sales. You know, to the customers they want to make sales
too. That's right.
You know, so that's you got to understand what they're all about, and you know they are driven to places they probably don't want to go largely by the totes and Betfair. But
what about just bang your head against it with the governing bodies and grasp for the issues. The letter that went out from Tas Racing saying we are welcoming this 15% pop tax into Tasmanian racing and we can't wait to get our share and all this sort of stuff, just shows how poorly they've got a grasp on the whole. Just the people running the sports, you know. Victoria went 8%, and at least we've got some hope down here. But bloody hell,
it's very competitive. It's tough, and look, I hope the corporates learn a lesson. They invited politicians into our industry, and the politicians looked at it and went, "Oh, we'll have a bit of that." You know, it started with South Australia, and where they're just keeping the money. The politicians, there's no return of it back to
they're all bloody
the industry. But as soon as you take money out of the betting, out of the wagering market, and put it in the authorities' hands to redistribute, it's not going to be. Punters are going to lose, and that's what's happened.
Yeah.
I saw Richard Irvine call it the punters tax the other day, and that's what it should be called. It's the punters tax.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So, and on that same lines, I've had a discussion with Jockey about it because of the way he operates, and I've had other people write to me about comparing Betfair SP and Best of the Best that Top Sport generally offer on most metro meetings, and there's no right or wrong answer. I think you'll find Betfair SP will average out better, but I'm inclined to think that you probably do better best of the best on the shorter the ones that are hard in the market. So
the money they try a lot of money for. Betfair SP is good on things that are little drifts.
The difference is you can make your decision with Betfair SP very late, whereas best of the best you have to make your decision
half an hour, in the morning,
well before they parade and everything else. So there's
pros and cons,
and both are useful products. They both have a place. So and I think punters should just don't get too stuck on always catching horses at the top of the market. You just, I mean, I try every race, but I fail that often. It's not funny. And I get the most satisfaction when I find a horse and get it back at the top of the market and get the full collect. So that's why Odium would have been a great result, or Dr. Drew would have been a great result. But it's not the way. You got to do it often enough that luck finds you.
That's right.
The rubber bread finds you eventually.
That's right. The patient dies a lot. As we say, Operation Success, catching the odds, but they're hard to get to the line.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything? What was I going to say? What about the Friday frenzy and all this? These early birds. Any changes there with those? They picking and choosing with runners and things. And
the tab have gone. They've changed it from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
So that's okay. That's fine. And the other corporates are going with them a bit. You know what I mean? Like just horses they want to lay. And so I think that's a time. That's a better. If you've got the problem is you don't have the scratching, so deductions will be part of the picture. But the market percentage at between 5 and 8 o'clock on Friday night is much better than it is at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. And but that could change next week. And then and we're only talking about Saturday races here, not the rest of the time. It's Saturdays only. So it's you just got to take advantage of it the best you can while it's there. And all it is an opportunity to bet into a less retail-oriented market. There's still a market percentage in their favour. And they're dead keen to try and take the risks with the longer price runners. That's where they're taking most of the risks. Right? So
of course,
there is but. So there's opportunities that you can. If you're like a middle pinner, that might have been, say, it's been $8 since betting opened on Wednesday. All of a sudden, you get the Friday afternoon, and you might get $16 about a horse like that. But there's a lot of, you've got to sort through a lot of them to try and find the one that's worthwhile. And like I said, Dr. Drill was $4.40 on Friday afternoon when they went $4.60 when they went to. They're 110%, and it's run 280. So I mean, there was a bit of a opportunity there if you wanted to
patient died.
Go that way. Anyway, I think that's about it.
All right, that's good, mate. Good to be back.
Hope the punters enjoyed it. We'll try to get together as much as we can.
We'll ramp it up a bit. Get some, try and help the punters out, find some winners, and do some other stuff. Be good.
Cheers, punters.
All right.